Hi, subscribers. Hi, viewers. I'd like to say a little bit about this African variant, the new COVID-19 virus, which is actually, they say, is much more dangerous and everything. Having been a Southern African, I am a Southern African, and I'm from most of these countries that you can see, which are on the list, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and South Africa, I've visited them all, which are on the red list. Actually, Namibia, I've yet to be there. And I watched the whole COVID pandemic start up in China. I was in China. I've been in China for quite a while now. And I've been in China before. I was meant to be traveling to Africa when the COVID started in China. I was in Beijing at that moment, and what happened is we're seeing everything, the Wuhan virus and everything, the global. I'm someone who does follow the news quite a lot, and what happened is I managed to relocate from Beijing, and within a week, having relocated from Beijing, we had. Although it was not the completely shut down at that moment, I remember it was like it was around the Spring Festival holiday, which is around January, February, where it starts getting busy and everything. It was so empty in Beijing. I remember the highways and everything, restaurants, everything just shut down. And after that, what came up was a total lockdown, complete lockdown, where you go to the supermarket, maybe the supermarket where it's busy, you have to actually push your way through. There'll be like something like five people, everyone's managed to stay away. And I don't know about people who do understand what China is like, and you get your parcels delivered to your door, and it's like the Amazon delivery services. But at that moment, delivery people are no longer allowed to come down into communities because in China, you live in communities. It's not like a block of apartments there, block of apartments here, block of apartments there. No, it's communities. In that community, there'll be entrances and there's some security people to make sure that your community is safe, nothing is stolen, and everything, which is quite good. I like that. And you could only buy at that moment, you could only buy some stuff. Anyway, before I start explaining what China's response was like, I would like to tell you that at the end, I'll be explaining what I expect from the Southern African community's response because I know what my people are like and I know what our cultures are like. Now, let's go down to China, the lockdowns and everything. It was very difficult to even leave your community and everything. You had to get your scan, you had to get your temperatures and everything. I remember within like the first day of sorry, second day of lockdown, I went to the supermarket, the shelves were half empty, everybody just rushed the night before, and me being reluctant, like I said, our culture, being an African. I just go there. The supermarket is half empty. They got this facial recognition item which detects your temperature and detects everything. All your information is there. So you go in, you buy. Everything was done, and we managed to survive. I moved out of Beijing. Then I was back in Beijing this year after like it was mid-year this year, and I'm living in Beijing now. And having to come back in Beijing, you realize Beijing is more strict. In China, it's more strict. You cannot go on public transport without your temperature being scanned. You cannot go in the public without having a face mask. If you're in a lift, an elevator, you have to make sure that the face mask is on. If you're in a bus, your face mask has to be on. If you're in the train, your subway, whatever it is, your face mask has to be on. If you're catching a taxi, your face mask has to be on. And now, since there was just a few weeks ago, there was just like two cases in Beijing. And I remember coming back to my community. I was like, what's happening here? It was so strict. There was a tent outside next to the security guard. I now live in a better community anyway. So there was a tent outside just to say, I was like, what's that for? But I realized that they become serious checking temperatures and everything. Then I had to check on the news and I discovered that there were only two cases in Beijing. Now, let's go down to Africa. South Africa is very reluctant. It's like people have been influenced by freedoms and rights and everything. You cannot talk about freedoms and rights when you're talking about the COVID. This goes for the West. I've lived in the West. I've lived in the United Kingdom. I know what the response is like, and I know what people are like. I know what that culture is like. But the reason why China managed to control this, if China was not China, if China was the West and this COVID-19 started in the West, it would have been, I'm sure it would have wiped out almost like a third of the world's population, if not half. Because China, everybody, it's all about community coherence. Everybody cares for each person and everybody understands each other. Now in Africa, well, it is a stable. Some of it is the matter of the economy. You understand? You can be there, you can be out if you need to be out. But for most African people, they live hand to mouth, and what they earn on that day is what they spend. If you don't earn today, which means you're not going to eat. So people are pressured to go out, otherwise, people are going to starve to death. For instance, I see Botswana has got a few cases, which I was worried about, but Botswana has got a stable economy. But the problem which could come down is immigrants who go there to go work and everything. And those people, they will feel the need to be on the streets. But what during the first COVID, I remember um, the Botswana government commandeered some buses and trucks to to not to deport, to transport people who were willing to go back to their countries. Not those were not deportations. So now we go back to South Africa. South Africa has got a serious issue. It's overcrowded. South Africa, Johannesburg, which I know quite well, it is very overcrowded. And those people, they don't care about the law. They don't care about the health hazards. It's each man for himself, and they don't care about the other person. And if you live, because it is quite a violent society with different cultures and everything, people do not feel the need to be very cautious. I'll go down to Swaziland. Swaziland has got a very small population, which is really they can try to manage, and understanding what Swaziland is like. And I think they're one of the first people that if they go to shut down their borders, they can get away with it on this COVID-19. But I know a lot of people, they're going to leave South Africa. A lot of Swazi people, they're going to leave South Africa and go back. So that's how the infections are going to spread. Now let's talk about Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, what you find is you get some issues. You get these issues of people that it's because of the economy. The economy is rough. People are struggling and everything. They feel the need to be there, and most of them, the informal traders. We're talking about street vendors, and the economy is not doing quite well at the moment. Everyone will feel the need to be there, and the previous lockdowns, they've really affected the economy. They've actually put people in dire situations that any further lockdowns will strain, I can say, the well-being of people. I remember I was talking to some kids who had not been to school for quite almost a year. Yeah, it was quite a long time when kids did not go to school. And they did not have, I was talking to some of the kids, like some parents. So if you're an average, a working class parent, a civil servant, you earning something like 250 to 280 US dollars a month, you cannot, literally, that buys you cannot afford to pay for stuff. You cannot afford to even buy a laptop for your kid to give online classes. Botswana is a good country. They can afford to do that, to fund that, and South Africa can actually try. It's all about working classes and non-working classes, but the majority of the people which I feel are going to be affected are people from the big cities in South Africa, Zimbabwe. Namibia is a stable country. Namibia is a very well stable country which does not need to be lectured on these things because it has proven itself to deal with different issues, and it's I can say the population is stable, and most of the Namibians they secluded from the busy city lives, and they're doing their own thing. But where you feel like you got communities like South African metropolitan cities like Johannesburg, Cape Town, and you're going down to Zimbabwe, Harare, Bulawayo, well, it's not like that busy. But Gaborone and and Francistown in in Botswana. I think they're going to be able to deal with this if they manage to enforce a full lockdown. I've been in China. I remember how it started, and I've been following this COVID issue all along, and I know what it's going to end up like. And I feel sorry because at the end of the day, if it gets out of control, this Southern Africa is going to suffer, is going to severely suffer, and going to be severely affected by this COVID. So I suggest people put on a face mask, and I've been advising people that I know, particularly in 3 countries, to stay away from the public and do what I did in China. Because I remember when it started in China, I was the one who was being called every day, everyone asking me, how is it like? What's this COVID like? And now I'm having to tell them that they're going to feel the full brunt, because where it originates, that's where people focus on, and that's where it starts to infect seriously. Well, it might leak out to other countries, but if those countries don't contain it, it becomes a serious pandemic which affects a lot of people. Oh, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment if you feel you need to. Then I can do the chronicles on this Southern Africa COVID-19. Um, have a good day.